They call them dreamers. They call them innocent. You might have heard that INFJs don't notice the manipulation, or that their kindness means they're easy to fool. But here's the truth. They may seem innocent, but beneath that calm lies a supercomputer of intuitive pattern spotting. Their introverted intuition is always running, quietly mapping out motives, while their external feeling-driven emotional radar senses every shift in the room. Most people never realize how much INFJs see because INFJs choose not to let others know. Why? The answer will shatter your assumptions and reveal the calculated brilliance of their introverted intuition-powered insights and external feeling-driven empathy, all hiding in plain sight. So what happens when someone underestimates you, assuming your gentle presence means you're harmless? Before we start, please hit the like button, comment, and subscribe so you won't miss any of our weekly deep dives into the world of personality types. And if you're looking to gain a deeper understanding of yourself and your personality type, click the link in the comments to take our favorite free personality test. The INFJ's strategic use of perceived innocence as social armor. For INFJs, the image of innocence isn't just a personality quirk, it's a shield, a kind of social armor. When you let others see only your gentle surface, you're not surrendering control. You're quietly shaping the room. By disarming others through perceived innocence, INFJs lower their social guard to gather more emotional data, reading subtle cues that most people miss. This isn't about naivety, it's calculated. You blend in, let people feel comfortable, and suddenly they're sharing secrets or dropping their guard, convinced you're harmless. All the while, you're taking mental notes, cataloging every shift in mood or motive. This calculated kindness disarms others and shields the INFJ from scrutiny, while tapping into the extra emotional cues external feeling provides. You become the person others trust, confide in, or even underestimate, which is precisely where you want to be. In tense or unpredictable spaces, this non-threatening presence lets you navigate without drawing unwanted attention, keeping emotional safety intact while quietly steering the social current. But there's more. Why would an INFJ risk revealing this kindness? The answer lies in their silent reconnaissance. Because beneath that gentle exterior, something else is always at work, quietly predicting what comes next. How introverted intuition creates master observers disguised as dreamers. What if you could read the room so well that others never suspect you're watching? For INFJs, this isn't magic. It's the quiet force of introverted intuition. Their introverted intuition acts like a supercomputer running in the background, spotting patterns and predicting outcomes. It's more than just noticing what's obvious. It's catching the most minor shifts, an odd pause, a repeated phrase, a glance that lingers too long. All these fragments become part of a larger story, mapped out before anyone else even realizes there's a plot. What sets INFJs apart is how naturally they hide this ability. Outwardly, they seem lost in thought, a little too idealistic, and even distracted. But that daydreamer facade? It's the perfect cover for one of the rarest psychological superpowers. Beneath that gentle presence, their mind connects threads, deciphers motives, and constructs meaning from chaos. They see links between events and intentions that most people overlook, reading both logic and emotion with the introverted intuition. External feeling blend. This isn't just observation, it's anticipation. INFJs piece together the clues, forming a picture of what's happening and what's likely to unfold. And once they've mapped the story, why stay silent? We uncover that next. Why INFJs choose silence over revealing their true insights. There's a reason you hold back, even when the truth burns behind your eyes. For INFJs, silence is a tactical move, a way to gather more clues and conserve their introverted intuition, plus external feeling energy for moments that matter. You can see the patterns, the motives, the hidden games playing out in the room, but you also know the cost of calling them out. INFJs understand that exposing manipulation, or hidden motives, can spark pointless battles, risking emotional upheaval and shattering fragile trust. So you wait. You choose stillness, not because you're uncertain, but because you're protecting your emotional equilibrium and reading the room for what it is. This restraint is often misunderstood. People might think you're naive, oblivious, or simply too gentle to notice what's happening. But you use silence to your advantage, letting others reveal themselves while you quietly confirm your suspicions. It's a form of passive reconnaissance. By withholding your insight, you encourage people to drop their guard, to show you who they truly are. You test your perceptions, gather more details, and decide if speaking up will change anything for the better. Choosing silence isn't surrender, it's control. You decide when to act, when to speak, and when to let the world keep underestimating you. Silence is your weapon, but soon you'll see how playing dumb becomes their most excellent intel gathering tool. Because sometimes what looks like innocence is the sharpest strategy of all. The difference between genuine naivety and calculated positioning. On the surface, you might seem like you're wearing life's rose-colored glasses, idealistic, kind, maybe even a little too trusting. But that impression is a calculated move, not a flaw. The fundamental difference between genuine naivety and calculated positioning is simple. Genuine naivety means you don't know. INFJs choose to appear that way, even though their introverted intuition has already mapped the hidden motives. This isn't about being oblivious. It's about letting others draw their conclusions, all while you quietly track every shift in the room. Genuine naivety is a vulnerability rooted in not seeing the truth, a kind of innocence that leaves you open to being blindsided. INFJs, on the other hand, rarely miss the undercurrents. Their deep understanding of human behavior lets them read intentions, spot subtle power plays, and predict outcomes with unsettling accuracy. So why let others think you're in the dark? By crafting a persona that seems gentle and unthreatening, you give people a false sense of control while you maneuver behind the scenes. This isn't just a mask for comfort, it's a precision tool for navigating complex social landscapes. There's always a quiet tension between how others see you and what you know. Is their innocence a mask or a weapon that shapes every interaction? What happens when people start trusting you more than they realize? Wait until you see how INFJs turn that harmless image into an information goldmine. How INFJs gather information while appearing harmless. You step into a room and the world reads you as gentle, maybe even naive. That's the setup. But beneath your calm, you're running a silent operation, gathering data, reading faces, and letting others believe they're in control. INFJ's harmless aura makes people drop their guard. And thanks to external feeling, you tune into unspoken emotions while introverted intuition decodes the cracks in their stories. Most people think you're just listening. In reality, you're watching for the moments when someone's words don't match their tone, or when a casual story reveals more than intended. You don't need to press for answers. Sometimes you ask questions you already know the answer to, just to see how someone responds when they think you're oblivious. This isn't manipulation, it's observation. You're testing character, watching if someone will take advantage of your apparent innocence. Each small reaction, each slip, becomes another piece of the puzzle. You withhold your insights, keeping the dynamic one-sided so you can see authentic behavior, not a performance meant for someone in the know. It's not just about collecting secrets. By staying gentle and non-confrontational, you keep the flow of information open, even when others might get defensive. This approach isn't flashy, but it's effective, and it protects you in a world where trust is currency. Next, discover how underestimation fuels survival, conserving precious emotional energy. The energy conservation benefits of being underestimated. Constant vigilance has a price. For INFJs, every moment spent scanning for hidden motives or deciphering emotional undercurrents drains their social battery fast. Their constant introverted intuition scanning burns through mental and emotional reserves, so appearing naive spares them countless pointless debates and exhausting conversations. It's not carelessness, it's a survival tactic. You choose where to invest your insight, redirecting your limited energy toward what truly matters. When others see you as too gentle or harmless, you slip past the pressure to prove yourself or engage in battles that only waste your stamina. There's no need to defend your intelligence or untangle every misunderstanding. You sidestep the weight of being the fixer or the go-to person, especially when your reserves are running low. This means you can save your profound insights and emotional investment for relationships and projects that deserve it. By letting people underestimate you, you avoid the trap of constant overexertion, the burnout that comes from always being on. It's not retreat, it's their secret edge. But how do they know which battles to skip? We'll reveal that next. Why conflict avoidance makes INFJs appear more innocent than they are. You know the moment. A heated exchange, voices rising, tension thick in the air. Most people lunge for a comeback, but you step back, scanning the fallout before it even begins. For you, conflict isn't just uncomfortable, it's a drain on the peace you work so hard to protect. INFJs weigh arguments like cost-benefit analyses, and most don't justify the emotional toll. It's not about fear or indecision. It's about choosing which battles are worth your limited energy, and which ones only lead to pointless chaos. When you walk away, people often mistake your restraint for naivety. They assume you're too agreeable, too gentle to see what's happening. But you've already mapped the argument from every angle, calculated the likely outcomes, and decided that nothing truly valuable will come from the fight. Conflict disrupts your emotional landscape, pulling you away from what matters: meaningful connections, deeper understanding, and your sense of harmony. Walking away preserves that harmony, and this restraint often reads as innocence. People see your quiet, your refusal to engage, and write you off as naive. But your silence is a conscious move, a way to keep your energy for what and who deserves it. But their idealism does more than avoid fights. It conceals a pattern recognition mastery we'll explore next. How idealism masks sophisticated pattern recognition abilities. They call you an idealist, someone who clings to hope when the world turns cold. But what looks like naivety is your masterclass in pattern spotting. You see the cracks in people's stories, the moments when words and actions don't line up. Underneath your idealism, your introverted intuition decodes repeating behaviors and offhand remarks, creating a roadmap of hidden motives, long before anyone else even senses a shift. You choose to focus on what could heal, not because you're blind to the darkness, but because you see it all too clearly. This isn't about ignoring reality, it's about making a conscious decision to embody the good you wish existed, even if it means others underestimate you. Your idealism becomes a shield, inspiring trust and lowering defenses, while you quietly absorb every detail, every hesitation, every contradiction, every secret glance. People rarely notice the depth behind your warmth. They're drawn in by your belief in redemption, your willingness to see the best in them. That's when they open up, letting their guard down, revealing truths they'd never share with someone more guarded. You stay soft, even if it means risking being called foolish, because that's how you gather the most profound insights. Yet there's more. See how their vulnerability isn't weakness, but another strategic shield. The psychological safety INFJs create through strategic vulnerability. You create trust in places where most people put up walls. This isn't accidental. INFJs reveal just enough, what the research calls calibrated disclosure, to create psychological safety. You let others glimpse your inner world, but only the parts you've chosen. Using external feeling, you test how trust is received, offering moments of openness that invite others to step closer, all while keeping your core protected. The result is a space where people feel seen and safe, yet you remain the quiet architect of every boundary. This isn't about reckless honesty. It's a deliberate move. You share a story, a hope, or even a minor flaw, and watch how it lands. If someone respects your trust, you note it. If they cross a line, you remember that too. Sometimes, you even appear overly trusting on purpose, just to see how someone handles the opportunity. Each interaction becomes a quiet test, a way to measure character without confrontation. You gather evidence, not just for connection, but for your self-preservation. This strategy builds stronger bonds and shields you from harm. You're not exposing yourself for the sake of drama. You're cultivating the kind of trust that lets others drop their guard, while you quietly keep yours. If this is resonating with your own experiences, pause and share one moment below before we wrap up. What looks like innocence is anything but. For INFJs, what others mistake for naivety is a blend of introverted intuition, driven insight, external feeling-fueled empathy, and strategic self-preservation. Every gentle nod, every quiet pause is a conscious choice, an artful way to navigate a world that rarely sees the layers beneath the surface. This isn't just survival, it's a master strategy, honed over years of silent observation and emotional calculation. Think of the moments you overlooked in INFJ's depth. How many times did that innocence mask a mind already 2 steps ahead? Comment the moment you underestimated an INFJ, and subscribe if you want more insights into your hidden strengths. In the quiet mind of an INFJ, calm waters conceal the deepest currents. If you want to continue the journey to understanding yourself or an INFJ in your life, click either of the following videos, where we continue to unlock the secrets of the INFJ personality type.